I'm Margaret Chen, 68 years old. When my son David married Lisa, a woman 20 years younger, I knew she was after his money. Within 2 years, she isolated him from our family, convinced him I was toxic, and got him to cut me out of his life completely. Then David died suddenly in a car accident. Lisa immediately tried to claim his entire $10 million estate, including the family business my late husband and I built from nothing. She thought a heartbroken elderly mother wouldn't have the strength to fight. She was wrong. I'm a retired corporate lawyer who spent 40 years destroying people in court. This is how I exposed her fraud and left her with nothing. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that bell icon so you never miss revenge stories like this. My name is Margaret Chen. I'm 68 years old, and 2 years ago, I lost my only son David in a car accident. He was 42 years old. The grief nearly destroyed me. My husband William had died 5 years earlier from cancer, so losing David meant I'd lost my entire family. But before I could even process my grief, my daughter-in-law Lisa came after everything my husband and I had built. This is the story of how I fought back and won. David met Lisa 6 years ago at a charity event. He was 40 years old, recently divorced, and successful. He owned Chen Industries, a medical device manufacturing company my husband William and I founded 30 years ago. The company was worth approximately $10 million. Lisa was 22 years old when they met. She worked as a waitress at the event. She was beautiful, charming, and she targeted my son deliberately. I knew from day one she was a gold digger. A 22-year-old girl doesn't fall in love with a 40-year-old man unless she loves his bank account. But David was lonely after his divorce, and Lisa knew exactly how to manipulate him. They got married within 6 months. I tried to warn David. Son, please sign a prenup. Protect yourself and protect the family business. Mom, I love her. She's not like that. David, she's 20 years younger and she has no job, no education, no career. What does she bring to this marriage except her looks? That conversation destroyed our relationship. Lisa convinced David I was controlling and toxic. Within a year of their marriage, David stopped calling me. He stopped visiting. Lisa had successfully isolated him from his family. I tried reaching out dozens of times. Every call went to voicemail. Every text was ignored. Lisa had poisoned him completely against me. Then 2 years ago, I got the call. David had been killed in a car accident. A drunk driver ran a red light and hit him head on. He died instantly. I was destroyed. My only child was gone. I'd lost my husband and now my son. I had no family left. At the funeral, Lisa played the grieving widow perfectly. She wore black, cried dramatically, and accepted condolences. But when I tried to approach her, she turned away. You have no right to be here, she hissed. David cut you out of his life because you were toxic. Stay away from me. 1 week after the funeral, Lisa's lawyer contacted me. She was claiming David's entire estate under California community property law. Everything. The house, the savings, the investments, and most importantly, Chen Industries. David owned 51% of Chen Industries, her lawyer explained. As his widow, Lisa inherits that controlling stake. She'll be taking over as CEO immediately. I was stunned. My late husband and I had built that company from nothing. We'd worked 80-hour weeks for decades. David inherited it when William died. And now Lisa, who'd contributed absolutely nothing, wanted to take control of everything. Lisa has no business experience, I said. She can't run a medical device company. She doesn't need to run it herself. She'll hire management, but legally she owns 51%. I knew Lisa's plan. She'd sell Chen Industries to the highest bidder, pocket millions, and disappear. 40 years of my life's work would be destroyed. But Lisa made one critical mistake. She forgot that before I retired, I spent 40 years as a corporate litigation attorney. I specialized in complex business disputes, fraudulent claims, and estate battles. I destroyed countless opponents in court. Now I'd use those same skills to destroy her. I hired a team of private investigators to dig into Lisa's background. Within 2 weeks, they found everything. Lisa's real name was Elizabeth Stanton. She'd been married twice before, both times to wealthy older men. Her first husband was a real estate developer in Arizona. They were married for 18 months before he died in a suspicious fall down the stairs. Lisa inherited $2 million. The police investigated but couldn't prove anything. Her second husband was a retired executive in Nevada. They were married for 2 years before he died from an accidental overdose of sleeping pills. Lisa inherited another $3 million. Again, police investigated but found no evidence of foul play. Both deaths were ruled accidents. But the pattern was clear. Lisa targeted wealthy older men, married them, isolated them from family, and waited for them to die. Then she collected the inheritance and moved to the next victim. David was her third target. And unlike her previous husbands who died from accidents, David had been killed by a drunk driver, something Lisa couldn't control or predict. But here's what made everything fall apart for her. When I dug deeper into David's finances, I discovered something shocking. 3 months before he died, David had changed his will. He'd left everything to me, his mother. The new will specifically stated, "I leave my entire estate, including all shares in Chen Industries, to my mother, Margaret Chen. My wife, Lisa, receives nothing." Lisa's lawyer had never mentioned this will. She'd been claiming the estate under community property law, assuming no one would check if there was a will. When I presented this will to the probate court, Lisa's lawyer tried to challenge it. This will was signed when David was under his mother's undue influence. He was estranged from his mother. This doesn't make sense. But I had David's lawyer testify. David came to me 3 months before he died. He said he'd discovered his wife was lying about her past. He'd found evidence she'd been married twice before and both husbands had died suspiciously. He wanted to protect his mother and the family business. David had discovered the truth about Lisa before he died. He'd changed his will to cut her out completely. The probate court validated David's will. I inherited everything: the house, the savings, the investments, and most importantly, Chen Industries. But I wasn't done with Lisa. I contacted the police departments in Arizona and Nevada, where Lisa's previous husbands had died. I provided them with all the evidence my investigators had found. I showed them the pattern of behavior, targeting wealthy men, isolating them from family, inheriting money after suspicious deaths. Both police departments reopened their investigations. With new evidence and a clear pattern, they built cases against Lisa. 6 months after David's funeral, Lisa was arrested and charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder for the deaths of her previous husbands. The prosecutors argued she'd systematically killed them to inherit their money. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the prosecutor said at trial, Lisa Stanton is a black widow. She married 3 wealthy men. 2 of them died suspiciously and she inherited millions. The third died in an accident before she could kill him, but she tried to steal his estate anyway. This woman is a predator who murders for money. The evidence was circumstantial, but overwhelming. Life insurance policies taken out weeks before deaths. Wills changed to benefit Lisa. Family members cut off. Suspicious circumstances around both deaths. The jury convicted Lisa on both murder counts. The judge sentenced her to life in prison without possibility of parole. Ms. Stanton, you are a cold-blooded killer who murdered 2 men for their money. You targeted my son David next, but fortunately he died before you could kill him. You will spend the rest of your life in prison. Lisa is now serving life in prison. She'll never get out. She'll never inherit another dollar. She'll never destroy another family. Chen Industries remains in my control. I've hired excellent management to run day-to-day operations while I serve as chairman. The company my late husband and I built is safe. I'm 68 years old now. I've lost my husband and my son, but I protected their legacy. I destroyed the woman who tried to steal everything we built. Lisa thought I was just a grieving elderly mother who wouldn't have the strength or knowledge to fight back. She forgot I spent 40 years as a corporate litigation attorney, destroying people exactly like her. She targeted the wrong family. People sometimes ask if I feel guilty about sending Lisa to prison for life. The answer is absolutely not. She murdered 2 men and tried to steal my son's estate. She deserves every single day of that sentence. I visit David's grave every week. I tell him about the company, about how well it's doing, about how I protected everything he and his father built. I got her, son. She'll never hurt anyone again. Lisa made one fatal mistake. She assumed that because I was old and grieving, I'd be weak. She learned that age brings experience, grief brings determination, and a mother protecting her son's legacy is the most dangerous opponent you can face. I'm Margaret Chen. I'm 68 years old. I'm a retired corporate lawyer. I'm a widow who lost her husband and her only son. And I'm the woman who destroyed a gold-digging murderer who tried to steal my family's legacy. Lisa thought my age made me vulnerable. She's spending life in prison learning exactly how wrong she was. The end.